Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Sorry I haven't been uploading or streaming lately. I've kind of just been enjoying my summer, taking a step back and just all the time that I have into consideration just to have fun and relax myself. So I apologize if anyone was expecting weekly uploads since I did promise that. Without further ado, we're gonna go on to our favorite game, VHS. They released a dev patch today on the 13th in regards to the top feedback, reminder update, and new content. Let's go right into it. I'm gonna leave the link to this in the description below, so make sure if you definitely want to check it out or follow along, you can do so. I'm gonna skip this right here. This is just an introduction. Article is aiming to address the following 3 points: the queue times and dead lobbies, monster gameplay experience, store and purchasing issues. Queue times and dead lobbies. There's nothing more frustrating than waiting on a long matchmaking queue only to join a game where someone DCs, or you end up playing a 3-minute game because you're still learning how to play, or you load into a dead lobby. Feels bad, and we don't want players to constantly experience that. There are 2 types of data that we're looking at so we can address these concerns. There is the quantitative, which is the raw numbers, aka what our data is showing us, okay? And then there is the qualitative, which is the feedback from the community, aka what the players have been saying or showing. On the quantitative side, aka the raw numbers, we are in the process of adding additional code to our game that will provide us with additional data that shows us a clear picture of any factors that could be causing extended queue times or backfill issues. We've made some progress on fixing some queue related issues, but this data will help us pinpoint exactly how to address the technical bugs with dead lobbies and matchmaking, as well as give us an insight down the line as things change. This doesn't mean that we aren't working on ways to improve queue times. It just means that matchmaking is an element that we will continuously be working on towards the lifespan of the game. As our community grows, new teams and monsters are introduced, and skill levels change. This data another way we're hoping to ease the queue time frustration is by increasing our DC penalty in an effort to discourage players from leaving a match before they've been down or defeated, or by blah blah blah. The increased DC penalty will go live next patch. Okay. So basically what I've gathered from reading this, that they are looking into it, which I know for a lot of players, including myself, is really not the answer that we want to be met with, because we've been pestering them for the past since forever now, that queue times are very, very long. I think the queue times are very long due to the shortage of monsters. I think they were not accounting for that, or maybe they are now, but being told that they're basically just looking into it and that it will be a thing that they will always keep in mind in the future, I understand would not be the answer that a lot of people are looking for, myself included, and that's just really unfortunate. We know that they're trying to fix the backfill issues now. They're adding an additional code for that, but other than that, it's not really transparent what they're doing with. Hopefully that next upcoming part addresses it. So let's take a look. Monster gameplay experience. Our qualitative data, the community, tells us that monster experience can be more stressful and less engaging for some players, which could potentially be leading to less monsters and longer teen queue times. Yes. We've seen some wonderful suggestions come in ways that we can improve this experience and make it more rewarding for the monster players. As such, we're currently planning to implement some reworks to the monster role. The how can we make monster feel more engaging, less stressful conversations have been a long one. Help and continue to monitor feedback and discuss. Some suggested changes to be discussed internally. Disclaimer, these are not guaranteed but proposed changes that are currently in the experimental stage. Okay, let's take a look at them. We have the dynamic bounty system. The 10% bounty multiplier for monsters added in our last patch was the first experiment in seeing how changes in rewards would impact queue behavior. Okay. We're continuing to work on a system that will offer dynamic adjusting bounty multipliers based on the current state of the matchmaking queue in the chosen region and the player's current MMR with the chosen character. When the system is in place, a player on the character selection screen may be shown bounties as follows. If the player's selected region currently has a shortage of monsters in a certain MMR range, players who have a monster in that MMR range will be offered a bounty. If playing as a monster in an MMR range where there is no shortage of players, a bounty may not be offered or may be small. I don't think this is a good idea. The monsters should always be offered a bounty. I mean, I guess that helps. I mean, if there is no shortage of monsters, but like the thing is, the hard truth reality is that there is a shortage of monsters. There will always be a shortage of monsters unless something with the core mechanics of the monster is changed. And on the last point, this system will be able to offer bounties for teens as well as monsters, though we expect monsters to be offered the majority of bonuses at this time. I feel like this has been forced to be included because a lot of players were upset that I'm playing teen, I should get a bounty too. I'm like, no, that's not how that works. The introduction of the bounty system solely for the monster was due to the fact that there's a shortage of monsters and that players don't feel rewarded at all playing monsters. Currently, not saying that teens shouldn't get rewarded, the majority of the bounty should be going to the monster player, since that is what is needed. Who knows? Maybe in the future, long ways from now, they can add a bounty for playing teen as well. But yeah, I didn't really get much from this. I'm gonna be honest. This does the bounty system does not play a huge role in whether or not a player chooses to play teen or monsters, so I'm just gonna move on from this. So end of game sequence changes. The end of game sequence is what happens in a match after one team has won. Either the last team is down or the last is dealt with a monster. Being a small team, we haven't yet got this sequence the attention that we think it needs. Our design for the revised end of game sequence includes the following: new music for when winning or losing the match, new equip slots for both team and monster to play celebratory emote sequences at the end of the match, a commendation system for both factions to provide a way to compliment your teammates and opponents based on experience in the match. Bonus points may also be rewarded based on commendations received. Okay. This improved flow should bring a more satisfying conclusion to the matches and provide a way for both sides to give each other props and encourage a sportsmanship-like behavior. I like this. This is good. New music for when winning or losing a match. They're going to be doing new equip slots for both team and monster to play celebratory emotes. We don't know what that entails specifically. Maybe at the end screen there is, your character, whether it's a monster or a teen, and you're just, just dancing. That could be something that is nice and refreshing. Definitely looking forward to that. And then the last point, accommodation system for both factions provide a way to compliment your teammates and opponents based on experience in the match. I think this is good. If you think they're going to be adding a chat system, you're wrong. That chat system is never something that is used properly and positively at the end of the match. So I think it's just kind of be more of like a thumbs up, like, oh, hey, you did a great job. So that's good. The end screen is a little bit boring. It's been stale. We've been looking at it for almost a year now. So I think that's refreshing content that everybody's going to enjoy. So this is good stuff. The Book of the Dead changes. A change to the Book of the Dead mechanic is coming soon. We found that in some matches, the lockbox would get found and looted very early in the match by observant players. This would both remove the objective to search for the Book of the Dead by a teen spectral, as well as frustrate the monster if a teen gets revived very shortly after they had just killed them. With this change, the lockbox containing the book will now only spawn into the world after a teen has died. We feel this would give more time for the monster to roam before the team can return to the match, as well as give a greater chance for a dead spectral to claim bonus points for finding the box. Okay, so this is kind of just more of just like a bounce change. Book of the Dead used to always spawn on the map from the get-go, and now it will only spawn after a team has died. It's probably a healthy change, as oftentimes or not, actually a lot of players will be able to find the Book of the Dead before anybody has died, be able to open it and hold on to it, and then instantly revive the team after somebody has died. And from the monster perspective, spending all that time to kill a teen and then only for them to get revived 10 seconds after they died, pretty not enjoyable experience. So I guess that's a very good change. Doesn't really change the whole monster experience in the grand scheme of things, but I guess a good change. Banishment changes. Based on the player feedback, we're looking to improve the monster experience around the banish mechanic. Playing as a monster can be very intense and require a lot of focus. When banished, there can be a feeling that you're losing too much footing in the game, as well as being worried about what can happen to you right after returning from the banish. Agreed. We'd like for players to have more of a break while they are banished, so we are experimenting internally with the following changes to banishment. All monster power cooldowns will be refreshed after becoming banished. It felt excessive punishing the monster to use a power with a long cooldown just before being banished and not being able to use it upon returning to regain momentum. That's good. Okay. Great change. While the monster is being banished, teens will not be able to craft or charge weapons. Teens can still perform actions such as reviving, healing, searching, vending machines, etc. during this period. Wow. Okay, let's finish reading before we give our thoughts. Increasing the duration of banishment. Okay. Creating a scream shockwave at the point where the monster returns from being banished. This will give monster players a period of empowerment and safety upon their return. Wow. Okay, so these are actually a lot, some pretty huge changes, especially that second and fourth one. Wow, that is good, actually. That is very good. I know a lot of monster players, when they spawn back into the map, especially newer players, they aren't aware that players can act upon that, but definitely stop a lot of players from getting continually stigma'd. So this is good. For the teen side, this is probably going to be annoying, but you have to understand that the main issue with VHS right now is monsters. We want to make sure that the monsters have an enjoyable time, and this is just a quality of life improvement, Shockwave secures a safety for the monsters upon return, and then the second point, teens will not be able to craft or charge weapons. This is also a very good point. Very nice quality of life change. I don't know how long that they're going to increase the banishment for, which is the third point here. It ties in with the second point. I think that's good. Because I know as soon as I banish a monster, I tend to go immediately to a crafting station to be a very efficient team player. Just not being able to craft or charge weapons for an X duration of time is definitely an improvement, at least for the monster experience. Plague system changes. Currently, monsters may choose to use a monster prize to bring a plague into the match, which can be recharged upon hitting teens. We like the dimension this adds to the monster gameplay, however, since it requires the use of a prize slot, it is not a factor in the majority of games. It does not feel like a core mechanic. This rework, plagues can always be a factor in a game, whether or not the monster choose to bring in a plague prize. Instead of the plague recharge mechanic, whenever a monster does not currently have a plague, they will be able to work towards one by achieving a certain number of hits on teens. Once the required numbers of hits is reached, the monster will be able to press the use plague button to reach into beyond and retrieve one. The type of plague retrieve will be random, so you never know what you get may impact your next move. We are aware with this change, plague would become more common, so the effects of plagues may be rebalanced accordingly. I know this is have been an idea in the community. Plague system, just being able to get a plague during the game and not just bring in one in general. I mean, I guess to be able to help monsters players more, having a little push is not bad. The only thing that I don't like is the fact that the type of plague that you may retrieve is random. I'm not saying that every single plague is bad or that there are some bad plagues out there, but as they mentioned, they will be reworking some of them, rebalancing them, so this way they, if you get X plague, you're gonna be like, oh, this is great, or this is just horrible, and I just worked towards nothing. So okay, very nice change. Looking forward to it. Helping the monster experience is always something that I will push for. That is what is going to keep our game alive. So, new status effect, Busted. Our teen health state system was designed such that teens can always have a chance to survive so long as they can keep the monster from getting enraged and keep themselves healed up. In the majority of games, the system works well. However, a pain point for monsters are the times where teens just won't seem to die, or no matter how many times they are hit. To help prevent these very long matches and monster exhaustion, we will soon be adding a status effect to the game called Busted. Teens will gain the Busted status for the remainder of the match after receiving 6 hits. Resurrection will not reset the status, okay? When busted, an injured teen can no longer be healed by other teens, nor can they use the medkits. Wow. There's still one way to heal, however. The unpowered Holy Staff's miraculous powers are strong enough to overcome this affliction and will work as normal. In addition, busted teens will have a unique health state indicator on the HUD and leave differently colored trails of chromatic aberration. Feel this change will put a cap on the total amount of hits the teen can sustain before they are defeated and give the monsters a more satisfying sense of progress towards winning the match with each hit. Wow. Okay. So from what I can understand, after you have received 6 hits as a teen, which is 2 more than which is usually required, or at least I think 1 more actually than usually required, you're put into the Busted status effect, and in which when you are in the status effect, the only way that you can get out of it is by healing yourself with a staff. That is a huge balance change for the teens. Usually you should be able to just eat a candy bar. So I don't really know how candy bars will work into the Busted status effect here, but that is a huge balance change. All I can say to that is I think it's a step in the right direction. Maybe the fact that you cannot heal yourself or be healed by others is a bit of a harsh restriction, but I will be willing to see how that works after it is implemented. As always, something to keep in mind with VHS is that you cannot look at something on paper and go, this is bad, this is horrible. VHS has a very good track record of trusting the balance that changes that they've made. I'm gonna wait to see how it changes, how it works, and how it changes the meta. So, and again, keep in mind that these are not guaranteed changes, but we are currently in the experimental stage. The rest of this article contours towards just like general, more of like not publicity, but more like fun aspects of VHS. So if you're a VHS connoisseur or VHS enjoyer, there's the Be Quiet Rewind update. There's also like cosmetic updates, and then there's like advertising, marketing. It's just a bunch of other stuff that probably doesn't really need to be included in this video. There is a new trailer drop for new content that are coming soon, and then there's just closing notes. Again, if you want to read all this, the link will be in the description. You can take it yourself, but I kind of just wanted to go over the actual changes. Let me know what your thoughts down below. I think VHS knows for a fact that they have to be contouring the game towards the monster players. If you have not noticed, player base ever since EA was launched has been almost decreased or dropped by 90%, which is unfortunate, but I'm pretty sure Hellbent knows that, and they're working as seen through these patch notes, helping the monster experience, which I agree with. I'm very happy with these updates that they're planning to hopefully implement. I like them a lot. Let me know your thoughts down below, and peace.